Okay, an update on the Pajero for tracking purposes. 16-year-old car, doesn't look like much from the outside. We do have a couple of LED lights which come on with high beam to make sure that we can basically see the surrounding areas, because high beam's a bit intense. That's our wireless access point. It also does Cat5 connection to any equipment, but that gives us really strong signals in marginal areas. A UHF antenna for my work mainly, and CB radio. A little whip antenna there, very hard to see, for part of our tracking systems. Some very high intensity lights here which can be bent up to look at very high up places if I need to. Motorized antenna lifter, just working on that at the moment, so the cover's off. Same on this side, it's just work in progress right at the moment, but it means the antennas are all down when we're sitting still. Another high intensity light. In the back here I've got that's the Wi-Fi access point, and you can see the the instruction book sticking up a little bit there, but the Wi-Fi antenna. On the wheels of the car you'll see the dust cover's been replaced by this little device which gives us access to a wireless system for transmitting both temperature and air pressure in the tyres, back to a central unit which is on the dashboard, on the window here. In fact, it's connected without any cables because it works off solar. That's why the little sun symbols there, even on this very dark afternoon, it's still running off sunlight, and it does charge the batteries, but right now it's capable of supplying the power for the system. We have a new feature which is the head-up display, which has time or altitude, and it then shows you kilometres or miles per hour. We're in kilometres, of course, but we're not going anywhere, so it's 0, and a compass bearing which tells you which way you're travelling. That runs off GPS, so it's not linked to the car in any way, but I do have it just temporarily plugged in to the cigarette lighter down here. Normal navigator, plus one of our APRS transmitters, and some GPS receivers there. All the lights have been replaced with LED lighting, so it's ultra bright right throughout the whole car. And up here we have a Kenwood D710 head display unit, which is capable of showing all of our tracking. It's a UHF VHF radio with full APRS, so if I look at one of my old channels, here's one that we prepared earlier, which shows you a compass bearing on the right, which also has just under it the actual degrees to the system rather than the compass, which is very rough, and it also shows the distance, which is what's that, 23.7 I think it says, one of my friends. So it is able to tell me what's going on, where they're located. We're putting the another navigator here, but it'll be linked to that radio such that with Australian maps we'll be able to also designate a target, so that the full navigation system will always be updating how you reach the target. So if the target's moving like our payloads do in the sky, it'll be able to give us instantly the best pathway to get to where it currently is. Getting to where it'll be is a little bit more difficult, but at least this will give us access over hills and that, which are very difficult for us to work out how to get to a destination. Down here we have a voltmeter on the battery, which will actually be on our second battery, located in a battery container in the rear of the car, charged from the solar panel on the roof, which I forgot to show you, but nonetheless that'll just be showing volts. We're also putting a volt and amp meter with a shunt on the main battery, which will be, who knows where we're going to put it yet. nonetheless, here's the bulk of the radio systems. ICOM 7000, which will have a rear antenna on the car back door, which is simply a tapped whip, but it will end up having a we're putting bull bars on the front, and therefore we'll be able to put a automatic tuning HF antenna there. The VHF and UHF antennas are one of the ones that one of the three that rise up and lie down on the roof. And when we do put the bull bar in, we'll be putting this high intensity high beam spotlight system in, fully LED powered, and we may have some other spotlights as well. But this all turns on and off with local power, or this one times out. Beside it we have USB charging. Each of these two units is capable of 2.1 amps charging, so if I want to charge my iPad, I just put it in and nothing else. If I've got lower current units that need charging, I can put two in. The unit above is both for CB and for some of the commercial work that I do, and it's UHF, and it's the center antenna on the roof. We have a computer under this seat, which is needs a screen, and it also needs a keyboard and a trackpad. This is the keyboard and trackpad, and it connects wirelessly to it, and it's extremely good. Now we need a display. The only way we could get the display was to replace our radio with this very slim 1-DIN radio. It has a hole here for CDs and DVDs, AM FM radio, reversing camera, and much more, which when you press this button simply folds out to provide a full display. This is the radio display, but there are more pages to display other things as well as you work through them. The screen changes to a range of other screens. That's the auxiliary, which is not turned on at the moment for the computer, and it also has Bluetooth and reversing camera, etc., etc. So the reversing camera is yet to go in, but it's all just an amazing thing to have on screen, which we can just simply put away, and the whole radio still works without having that screen out on display. Full memory access, everything's on the keypad. We've also got two indoor and outdoor temperature monitors with full backlit little devices. They're only about $3 each, including shipping. So they've got to go somewhere, as also a voltmeter and ammeter with shunt for the main battery. One more thing, just here on this side of the car, we're putting our forward facing and another camera at the back rear facing unit for recording accidents, and it's full GPS and high definition on both cameras, and it records both with full time display, full video. You can review the videos and everything on screen or in your computer. So that has to go up there. That's arriving shortly, and that's about everything at the moment. But the really magic thing is going to be this this navigation unit, GPS navigator with full APRS integration. There won't be too much we can't do. And of course up here in the top of the visors we have 7-inch Android display. We're drilling a hole through our visor so that we can actually turn on the forward facing camera on that display. And oddly enough, guess what, there's another one over here as well for the passenger. So we've got some pretty amazing things going on in the car. The technology expansion has not finished. We've got just so much to do still to make this thing really what we think is going to be one of the most high-tech little cars out there for tracking anything. Also, yeah, don't sort of try and take the car. There's some hidden features that I haven't talked about, which the alarm, which just activated, and tracking systems on multiple modes, let's say. So we can find this car pretty much if you cut all the power to it and everything else. So don't try and rob us or take it. It won't be worth anything. Also, the vehicle's only worth very little. These are heads of systems. The main systems are buried elsewhere in the car. So finding them and getting them out would be a nightmare. Most of these systems just flick on and flick off with a switch. That's a bit hard to take out, but there is a switch here somewhere which allows me to just there it is, just take it off, as you can see, and remove it. So that's everything. I'll put that back in a moment. There's another radio that has to go in, which is digital, and we've got some commercial systems also going in, so finding all the room for the radio displays is a nightmare, but the idea is to keep it so that this car does not look anything special to anyone. And with the tinted windows, when I turn the ignition off, these things just vanish into the blackness. That's it. Thank you very much.